Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the EU Info Point. Let me welcome Madam Fajon and also Bilčík, MEP Bilčík. We are here today in Belgrade together on a common mission to reach out to all parliamentary and non-parliamentary parties and ask them to cooperate to create a national common minimum that is going to be necessary to be able to speed up the accession process for Serbia and to speed up the reforms. We know that Serbia is just in front of elections. We have seen an inter-party dialogue taking place. I do thank the two MEPs who have been instrumental in this and who have been helping a lot. And what I see is that the process has achieved considerable results, and I hope that this will continue also after the elections, because after the elections it is going to be very important to have a solid majority in the parliament so that all the reforms, including the judiciary reforms which will require the amendment of the constitution, will have a necessary support in the House. It is for that reason that we have been calling for all political parties to participate in the elections and not to boycott it. We think that this is for Serbia, this is necessary for the Serbian people. So also from here, I would like to pass the message that democracy only works if we all participate. So let me urge you again to get to the campaign, get to the voting, and be part of the next parliament. But without further ado, I pass the floor to.
Thank you very much, and good evening, and thank you very much, Commissioner. It's very good to be back here, not just with Tanya and myself, but it's, I think, extremely important, and I take this as an extremely important political message that we have a very strong visit, and we are accompanying the Commissioner on his first visit to Serbia, shortly after the presentation of the revised new strategy, which I hope will be one of the key answers to making enlargement a successful, credible, and ultimately really a policy which delivers in this decade. So I think this is really the first message. We are here to say that enlargement is highly on the agenda of all European institutions, and we really want to build overall trust in this policy, and we hope that trust can be also recognized and reciprocated on the side of our partners, and especially on the side of those here in Serbia. That's the first message. The second message I'd like to underline, and we've also listened a lot, because this is really for us a listening visit. We had a lot of dialogue in the past 3 rounds of our meetings, but here we come to listen what has been done, what has been achieved, what else has to be achieved and delivered. And I think one of the things which we are hearing from all sides, political actors, but also the society at large, civil society, the media, is that there is an overall low level of trust in political institutions, and trust in the public space. And I think this is something which we are ready and keen to help improve. We have been, Tanya Fajon and I, mediating, creating the space for these trust-building measures, and I hope that we can indeed continue to do this. In the run-up to election, we believe that every opportunity should be used to really make the election a success, and every opportunity until the very last day before the election should be used to bring all of those who can participate in the election, that they participate. The political actors, but also the public. And that, of course, necessitates a really free and fair space in the public media. And the last point I want to make is that this is hardly our last visit to Serbia. I hope we'll be here as often as necessary, especially after the election, because the interparliamentary dialogue is and should be a space that I hope we can very much, in coordination with the European Commission and the Commissioner, use as a platform for discussing the EU reform agenda and for discussing how the EU reform agenda can best be brought to and delivered in Serbia. Thank you very much.
Hvala lepa, dober večer.
Good evening. I would like to use the opportunity to address you in Serbian. I'm very glad to be here today with the Commissioner for Enlargement, who is offering us an opportunity and support within the IPD. As Vladimir said, I know we were very happy in December when we made some significant steps, but the major message is freedom of media, and freedom of media. It seems to me that this is the precondition, the crucial precondition today. And I do hope, and my personal message, also the message of us all, is to do everything we can so as to restore the trust into institutions, trust of citizens, and also to create conditions not only for fair and democratic elections, but also conditions for plural and free professional media. So the message is that we still have space for improvement of conditions for all, and I still wish to have the door open for the opposition that has declared a boycott could get back to the table. We are offering great support to Serbia on its path to the EU, and I do hope that during this visit tonight and tomorrow we will have the opportunity to talk with all political actors to hear everything that's going on, hear what we have achieved, and of course, and if there's anything that we can jointly do so as to make the Serbians process to the EU, but also the elections, to make them democratic, fair, and to show the citizens that we on the side of the EU are here to offer support to your countries. Thank you. Unfortunately, we cannot hear. Can you give them the microphone? We cannot hear the question. This is N1 TV. I would like to ask Madame Fajon, you recently said that the fact that freedom of media and democracy are seriously jeopardized in Serbia. Do you think that there are now conditions for fair and free elections, and would you invite all political parties to take part in the elections?
I think that free and fair elections are there, so we can organize. We can say that the conditions are there. Of course, it needs to be delivered to the people. So all here recommendations would still need to be followed up. But I understand that the Parliament is working on it, and it will be delivered. I also understand that, especially for the very question MEP Fajon raised. There is now a process ongoing to fill the last 2 vacancies in the National Electronic Media Authority, and the Parliament is working on picking up work on that next week. So I think that we are getting there.
Može dalje?
Question for Mrs. Fajon. Reacting to what we heard from the head of the SNS caucus in the assembly, Mr. Martinovic, who said that you have an animosity against the Socialist Party of Serbia, that the war from 1991 didn't finish for you. They said you're not welcome to Serbia. Do you think you're not welcome in Serbia? I think I'm still very welcome in Serbia. This was a statement by one member of parliament, a member of parliament who often, I would say, has, he has the hate speech. He speaks with hate speech, and I'm sorry that he used this opportunity today when they had the census debate. Us in the European Parliament, we have a habit to have a different culture of political dialogue. And what is happening in the assembly here in Serbia, you know, It's not what we are used to. I'm really sorry. I regret what was happening in the parliament today. I said this to Madam Speaker, and I asked, invited Madam Speaker, that she as the Speaker of the Parliament and us as responsible politicians do all that is possible for us not to spread the hate speech. How would you assess the way of communicating in our Serbian Assembly and the public discourse, especially public discourse from the ruling party? Well, my assessment is, as I said before, that we intend to follow the dialogue in the National Assembly and also what's happening in the dialogue in the media, and the political hate and political hate speech. I mean, it's present everywhere in Serbia, not only with politicians, but politicians are the most important. And the politicians, I'm really sorry to say, are using the opportunity to spread the hate in the society. This is not our responsibility. And that's why the citizens in Serbia have no trust in policy, do not trust politicians and politics. And that's why a big part of the opposition probably will not take part in the elections. And today we've had a meeting and we heard from the media, and we learned that the media situation in Serbia is going from bad to worse. It's worse and worse every year. Year in, year out, there are practically no independent medias left. Local medias are destroyed also. So it's not just Serbian media saying that. So you see, this international community who says this. This is a cause of major worry, and we have to do much more in that respect. Nikolina Rakic from RTS, you spoke with the Speaker of the Parliament and the parties who are taking part in the parliamentary dialogue. Did you bring along some mechanisms, some activities to bring people who are not taking part in the dialogue back to the negotiating table? Also, the changes to the electoral process, the census changes, were criticized so shortly before the elections. Did you speak with the President about it today, the Speaker, and what did you say about it, if you said anything about it?
Yes, I discussed this, the electoral law reform with the President, but also with the Speaker of the House. And I flagged it to them that such last-minute changes are not always the best way to start a campaign period. The Speaker of the House told us that this would be supported by the entire Parliament. In that case, I think then it should be no concern. And of course, in different political systems, we have different electoral systems as well. Some know these kind of thresholds, some don't. Those who know can go 3, 5, 6, 7, 10%. There are all sorts of examples. What is crucial is that the Parliament agrees on this, so that there is clear support from the Parliament. And if they can agree and they accept it, of course, we will be looking at the elections the way they organize it. On the other question, which I forgot, unfortunately.
Did you bring any concrete mechanisms or proposals how to make those who boycott the negotiations and elections can go back to the table?
Mechanism, no, but I'm just about to meet them. So I will try to convince them in person to come back to the table and participate. So I'm together with the MEPs, we are reaching out to them so that they are also come and participate.
Thank you, Commissioner Várhelyi. Thank you, honourable members of Parliament. Press conference is over.